Welcome to Crusade Conversations, an interview series and resource for artists, curators, collectors, and people who care about the beautiful things in their world. I'm Jennifer Schwartz, your host and #1 crusader for art. I own a fine art photography gallery in Atlanta, the Jennifer Schwartz Gallery, and an online photo project called The 10. Crusade Conversations is an initiative of the Crusade for Collecting, a project born out of my passion for supporting art and artists. The Crusade's mission is to cultivate a new crop of art lovers, patrons, and collectors by encouraging people to engage with art in exciting and innovative ways. Today, I would like to welcome Tristan Hummel, who is, in my estimation, a boy wonder. Take that as the biggest compliment ever. Tristan lives in Chicago, and he is the founder and producer of Art on Track, which is the world's largest mobile art gallery, which takes place on board a moving 6-car CTA train, where each train car is given over for free to a different local artist or group of artists to curate. This Art on Track is about to have its 5th exhibition. Would you call it an exhibition? Project?
Yeah, I like exhibition better than fair.
Okay, it's
it's
fifth.
arbitrary.
Its 5th exhibition coming up Saturday, September 22nd, from 5 to 10 in Chicago. And so when I first heard about this Art on Track project, of course, it was moving art, so I was all into it. And I contacted Tristan, and we had a Skype call, and he looks like he's 12. But I mean, I think you're only what, like 20?
I'm 13 at least.
Okay.
Yeah, 20, no, I'm 25.
Oh, you're so old, 25. But you started doing this when you were 20, obviously, or 19 if
18.
this is. Oh, goodness. See? Boy
20.
wonder. Totally deserved that. So tell me a little bit about your background and how you came up with this idea. And not only just, anyone can come up with an idea, but you executed it and 5 times. And then when we were talking on Skype, you were also mentioning like a gazillion other, and then when I did this totally awesome and innovative art project, and then when I did this other. So give us a little background, catch us up.
Goodness, okay. It started with an advertisement in the Red Eye, which is a free commuter newspaper here that they give out every morning at the CTA entrances, right?
Okay.
And I was a freshman in college and was sort of looking for a way to, I should say a freshman at art college at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago, and I was looking for a way to show my work and my friends' work. And in the Red Eye, that newspaper I mentioned, there was an article saying all the absurd things you could spend money on in Chicago. And one of those things was renting a train. You could have a bar mitzvah on there, you could have a wedding, anything you want. And so I told my roommate it should be an art gallery. And he told me that was stupid, and so I didn't think about it again for another year. When I mentioned it to someone, and they're like, "Oh, you should actually do it." And so me and a couple people sat down with the goal of accomplishing just that.
And, okay, so you can rent this train, and then logistically, tell us how it works. How does the whole exhibition work?
How does it work? Basically, we've done 8-car, 6-car trains. This year it's a 6-car train, and each car is given over to a local artist group, absolutely for free. So we just try to find the most talented individuals we can.
Do people apply, or do you invite?
It depends. I do allow people to submit on the website their ideas because I don't want to not consider anybody just because I don't know them.
Right.
But then also, inevitably, I handpick a lot of the artist groups, or I Google around and see who strikes me, and I approach them.
Okay.
So oftentimes I'm going to artist groups who I like and picking them out. And then these guys have full creative license to do whatever they want inside the train car to best represent themselves and their work to the public.
Great. And then, so the first year, what about as a spectator, as a participant? I mean, someone that's coming to look at the work. How is it viewed, actually? How does the day of what happens?
So, and it's a good question. This year, traditionally, Chicago has this really great loop track. And the train runs around this circular track around. It's about a 2-mile track around the heart of downtown.
Okay.
And so we'd have one station where passengers get on,
Okay.
then they can ride around the loop where it makes 4 stops, and they get off and switch cars and continue the circle. This year we're going up the Blue Line, which goes out into a neighborhood.
Okay.
So we'll be going up and down from the loop out into basically Hipsterville, which is Wicker Park, Logan Square area.
Uh-huh.
And so this year we're going to let people get on at 4 different stations rather than just one, and hopefully, they get a cool view from the train, as most of the track is elevated.
And so they would get on one station, get off at the next to switch cars, and then travel in the other direction to head back where they started?
Yeah, that's right.
And why the switch?
They're renovating the loop track.
Oh, no.
So we weren't given much of an option, but also this is the first time in 100 years that Chicago has had a cultural plan. There's this new mayor, Rahm Emanuel, and there's this new commissioner of cultural affairs, and they want this cultural plan, and they've spent $1 billion coming up with it. And one of the things it dictates is that art should be in the neighborhoods. So we're happy to oblige.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And so how much support do you get from the city and from just the general community?
You know what's hilarious? The city gives me zero support. I mean, the city of Chicago is great, but I email those guys every year and say, hey, we're doing this, help out, and not a whole lot of response. To be fair, this year I did get a response back, and they connected me to somebody at the CTA, but obviously I already have connected there.
You're like, thanks.
Yeah, they said you should check out this train. I said, all right.
Oh, my gosh.
I'll
wow.
look into it. But, the city's not that supportive. The CTA doesn't cut me a break on, fees or anything, but they do work with me. They spend an incredible amount of time to make this happen, and they're really very, very good to us. So definitely a lot of credit to the CTA for even allowing this.
Absolutely. Well, and how much setup and breakdown time do the artists have?
Oh, great question. That's the craziest part, is that we're only allowed access to this train the day of. So we show up at 9 a.m., and all the artwork between 9 a.m. and when the train rolls out at 5 has to be installed. It's 4 or 5 hours, which is pretty demanding. It becomes sort of like the art Olympics, where people are running around, sharing tools, trying to hook everything in a safe, secure manner.
Wow.
Which it'll be great to get Alan's perspective as a participating artist on what that's like exactly.
Right. So I forgot to mention, we have Alan Vanderveer, who's a participating artist this year with wearable art, right?
Yeah.
All right. And do you want to get Alan on? Is he right there?
Here he is.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello. So, Alan, is this the first time that you've participated in Art on Track?
No, this will be my 3rd year.
Oh, goodness. And so tell us what it's like as an artist to participate.
That's great. It's a very unique way of showing your art, and it has all sorts of interesting things you have to work around. There's no walls, or you can't hang things. You have to kind of build into the car. So
that's interesting. Really I didn't think about that. So you can't hang it.
So there's nothing to hang art on. There's there's no electricity to put lights for the art. So you have to come up with ways of working around all that. You have to create objects to hang the art. You have to get batteries to run the lights. You have to make the art so that it fits into the car. And the car really, for myself, it's always been trying to make the car itself more interesting, but also keeping art involved in that.
Right. And so
there's a lot of installation pieces and a lot of performance pieces people incorporate into it.
And so wearable art, is that clothes?
This year, yes.
Textiles?
This year, I'm also helping throw the after party, the extended party.
Oh.
So we're doing Art on Track since you were going out into the community, we're having a destination. So we're having an art show that Saturday night, starting the same time the art and track starts. And we'll be taking people from downtown to the extended parties. They can get off the train, they can get into the party for free with their ticket. And so since I'm doing that part this year, I wouldn't be able to do the marathon art installation that involves that day.
Okay.
So I'm having people wear, stepping back one step farther, I guess. I went to Miami for Art Basel a couple years ago, and I forgot all my dry cleaning at home. So I didn't have any jackets to wear.
Uh-huh.
I went to the Salvation Army and I got some jackets, but they look like Salvation Army jackets.
Right.
It's like, I can't wear this to a Playboy party tonight.
So you're like, I have to art this up.
So I painted it. And when I went to the party that night, everyone was like loving it. And I actually sold it the next day. I was wearing it, same jacket, and I actually sold it. So I was like,
That is so awesome.
So I've been hitting up Salvation Armies and thrift stores. And actually on Saturday, I go buy 20 jackets for this project.
So I would think that, for that particular type of, I don't even know if you can call it, you can call it a medium wearable art. So,
Sure.
That's not, it's not your typical traditional art form that, a regular... I would think that you would appreciate this opportunity to be able to show it in this way because it's not something that is as easy to get exposure for as like painting or sculpture.
Correct. Yeah. Correct.
And then,
although one of the ways it's actually it's an easy way because
you wear it.
Them out art opens every Friday night when it's not too hot.
Oh,
and
that's amazing.
So whenever I go to an art show, my art is present at the show. So
yeah, that's actually, you're a walking billboard for yourself, which is pretty amazing. Yeah. So I have a question for Tristan, if you don't mind putting him back on.
Oh, yeah. Tristan. Hey.
Hi, I missed you. So
good to be back.
So one of the things that really struck me when we had our conversation before is that this is really such a labor of love, passion project. You're showing all emerging artists. You're not asking for any sort of submission fee. It's really a let's put this out there in the world. And then the tickets are $10 each
That's right.
to go and to participate. And so are you... I'm in the throes of trying to get funding and sponsorship and all kinds of things for my tour. And so that's naturally where my head went when we were having our conversation. And have you found that, how's that working for you?
Yeah. So, when you set out to build a platform of accessibility where you want artists to benefit, you want everyone to have a good time and you want it to be free and, having those lofty goals is great, but then, realizing that financially is terrifying. And you sort of realize why the world is like it is, why you pay $25 to submit an artwork to a gallery or this or that, which none of that stuff is evil. It's not evil for a gallery or museum to charge or commissions or anything like that, but, when you're working with emerging artists who just maybe can't afford it, it gets very difficult. And so, our ticket sales are usually very weak because honestly, there's no way to police a mobile art train. There's 2 doors times 6 cars. There's no way you could ever staff that. People just get on. It's really more of an honor system if you get a ticket or not. So we don't do phenomenal sales, and of course, each artist group has their 20 or so VIPs, which again multiplied by 6 is just an ungodly large amount of people. It's thousands of dollars in free tickets every year. So. We really never do well on tickets. Our biggest sponsorship has always been from corporate sponsors, and then most recently we did a Kickstarter campaign that went okay. We did make our goal thanks to the corporate sponsors who kicked in.
Okay.
But so balancing that out, really we had to rely on the generosity of people who had money to donate, whether it was Coca-Cola or Fiji Water or Kickstarter people.
That's wonderful that you were able to pull that together in 5 years in a row. I can't imagine, does it end and a week later you're like, all right, here we go again.
Yeah, looking back on it after 5 years and adding up just the amount of money we've spent to give artists this free platform of expression, it's remarkable. I mean, it's a really cool accomplishment to be able to offer it again and again, because each year, the repetition gives strength. People know about it. We've
Absolutely.
got regulars who come out. I was doing another project, Built Festival, where we made a city out of shipping containers, and it was the same premise as Art and Track, a free shipping container, a rectangular modular space that people get to inhabit. And people would show up and they're like, yeah, we go to all your projects. It's like, oh, damn, I'm making a difference in the community. That's awesome. Because really my goal was, and this is not to say that I wanted everyone who goes to have an amazing time, but my goal is always to give the artists all the attention they can. It's really the artist's job to make sure people have a good time. So then to get that feedback, to have an audience that was appreciative,
Absolutely.
that was thanking me to pay $10 to see artwork, that was very cool. That really touched me.
It should. I feel like, you're doing an amazing thing, and not just one thing. I mean, a lot of things. And to be able to really make an impact in an arts community is a huge accomplishment. Absolutely.
Yeah. And, not every person is going to go to an art show because galleries can be kind of stuffy. Not everybody can go to a museum because there's a weird idea of what it is to go to a museum, right?
There's perceptual barriers to entry it's intimidating.
Exactly. There's a barrier to entry for most people, and when you do something on the train, when you take that familiar environment but give it just that slight change, there's that slightly different social norm about it, then you'll attract an audience that maybe normally doesn't go to those institutions. And then ideally, after they view the art and they get more comfortable around it, they have a good time, then maybe they will start to go to galleries. And that's
you are preaching to the choir. That's the crusade right there in a nutshell. Just to engage people with an interesting, innovative experience and kind of get them that first step to seeing what art's about.
Exactly. That's what kind of fascinated me about your project. Again, we bring art to the people, right? And it's providing a service as well as an opportunity for artists.
And so, so you did when did you do the shipping containers?
That was a year ago.
Okay. So that year you did that and Art on Track. Is that something that you plan to have be annual, or you don't want to commit?
No, I've already missed
this is being recorded. Okay.
Right. I hope to do it again. Ideally, the shipping container format was cool, but I'm looking at other modular housing now. Because what I'd really like to do is build an event like Art on Track, but that sticks around for like a month or 2 months, and allows people like you, if you're traveling through the city,
totally,
you'd be programmed in, so you could show up, you'd have a built-in audience, you'd have an environment that was, understood that you could then lay out your work in. So it'd be sort of like an event space for creative happenings. And again, the idea would be that it'd be free, supported through corporate sponsorship and ticket sales.
Mm-hmm. And then do you tell us, in your day job you do something along these lines as well, right?
Yeah, after all this art stuff, I got approached by the Chicago Loop Alliance, which is a business organization that manages State Street, which is a shopping/neighborhood district right downtown, right in the center of the loop.
That your train was circling?
Yeah, my train circles. Oddly enough, yeah, it's kind of I was the easiest reach for them when looking for art.
Right.
But yeah, they every year they do an amazing project called Art Loop, and they basically commission a world famous artist to do a massive installation. This year we built Jessica Stockholder's piece, Color Jam. Vogue listed us as the number 5, on their list of things you have to do this summer. We were the 5th thing. It was go see Color Jam. And that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Never had a Vogue write-up before. But yeah, we built this 76,000 square foot color monstrosity right in the middle of downtown. We covered buildings and sidewalks and streets with these huge sheets of colored fabric, very Crusade-like.
Wow.
Which was very cool.
And it was up all summer?
Yeah, it comes down in just a few weeks.
And then,
it was up for months.
And so this is a project that happens every year, or a different one every summer?
Yeah, and so like next year they'll pick another artist. You know, they'll pick someone like Banksy or, I don't know, it doesn't have to be a street artist, but someone who does like urban, like sculptural work. Tony Tassett was one of the artists they picked who made a giant, like 60-foot tall eyeball in a park down here in the Loop.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was before my time. It was a very cool project.
And so the shipping containers, did you hear about Photoville in New York this summer?
What's it called?
Photoville.
Yeah,
it was in Brooklyn, in Dumbo, and it was a photo festival in shipping containers, and 2 weeks, I think 2 weeks long. Heat wave, that was a little rough. It was, it's concrete area, heat wave, like, yes, I would love to step into a metal box now. But it was a really...
We were very lucky with the weather, yeah.
It was a really interesting concept and a cool show. And again, just different, something to bring out new people and that they'll want to check out because it's nothing that they've ever heard of before. So you have to check that one out. But that was the first year that they had done it, and they did a Kickstarter to get the funding for it. Yeah, that Kickstarter... serious. I just wrote a blog post about it and been reading more and more. So tell us what else. I mean, what is your, you have this goal of helping artists have a platform to show their work. And so you're thinking you've done the shipping container, you've done the train, and now something that's more long-term I think would be amazing. Or at least, longer than a
limitations with things like the train, right? Because there's a rental fee, and so what you get with things like on the TK or even like in shipping containers and a lot is there's this reoccurring charge that just is an obscene amount of money for limited access. And so, finding something sustainable would be so ideal. Similar to an art center, but maybe something more dynamic that the public can understand better.
Right.
So that it's not this art center, but rather they can integrate with it and have a good time and then realize it's the arts, maybe. They're looking at paintings before they realize it. So I don't know. That would be the goal. I had an interesting interaction today. I found out that Moscow actually runs an art train.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have and I've never heard of this, which is bizarre, because like if there's an article about trains or art, everyone forwards it to me.
Yeah, I think so.
But that's my niche.
Right. I get a lot of Volkswagen bus pictures.
Right. Yeah, people think you're a hippie, I'm sure.
Right. I'm like, I haven't even driven yet. Okay. So go ahead. So you stumbled upon this, or how did you hear about it?
I was Googling around, and I found it today, and it's their fine art museum. Like, the high-end institution puts these, like, $1 million paintings on the train, like, every year for passengers to see as they commute to work. And it's just this fun little thing an institution does. And so I had to, my claim for world's largest mobile art gallery was at stake, so I researched it more. And their train is just about 40 feet shorter than ours.
Oh, thank goodness. Oh, my gosh, we'd have to add an extra car last minute.
Yeah. They might, maybe it'll be like the Cold War, a mini Cold War. They can up their train, and then I get one more car. Keep going. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, totally. That's how great art happens. Competition.
Yeah.
So I actually just got an email from someone like 2 minutes before we started this. There's a photographer, Eric Cozano, who lives in Santa Fe, and he has a project that I've always really liked called American Motel, where he photographs these, kind of really low-budget street, along the road motels. And I gave a talk in Santa Fe last week just about this, about innovating and trying to, how artists can find alternate venues to show their work in places that would be a really great fit. And he emailed me that he had this idea to rent out a vacant roadside motel, and to show the work there in the rooms.
That's awesome.
And that would be such an awesome kind of longer term thing for you to have different artists curate different motel rooms.
Right.
And,
yeah,
you know,
again, that sort of modular space.
Right.
But with sort of like the public's been in that space before, they understand it too.
Exactly.
And so you kind of play with those expectations. Yeah, that's a brilliant, like a strip mall would be wonderful.
Yeah. And you have a different theme, and you could do like a progressive dinner, or like in the did you have frat parties at art school? They were probably very different if you did. But where each room is a different cocktail, you know? The Jell-O shot room, the ice sculpture slide. No. You're like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I have never been to a frat party in my life.
Oh, you know, that's probably why you're so focused. You didn't lose all those brain cells like the rest of us did.
Right.
So is there anything else that you can tell us? I'll tell everyone that to get more information about Art on Track, there's a website, builtontrack.com. I'm assuming there's also a Facebook page.
Yes, and artontrack.com gets you to the same place as well.
Oh, well, that is easier. Art on Track. And Saturday, September 22nd, 5 to 10. So it's 5 to 10. You can come at any point in that time?
Yes. At any time you can arrive at any of the stations we stop at and hop on board.
Oh, I'm so jealous. And will you be filming it? Has anyone ever filmed the installation part? Because I think that would be fascinating.
No, it would. Actually, the coolest part, or one of the cooler parts, might be witnessing that. In fact, this year, I wanted to give tours to like VIPs where they could come and like watch this process.
Right.
But after, you know, it's actually we install at the CTA facility, and there's really strict rules about filming because they're nervous terrorists are gonna learn too much.
Get the inside scoop. Wow.
Yeah, better be safe than sorry. So I get that a pseudo-government organization like the Transit Authority has to keep people out of there. Like, it's really nice that even we get to go there.
Right. Oh, my gosh. Well, if it ever works out, I'll have to come.
You have to be a participant.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, you should coordinate next year to, I don't know, tour. I can drive my bus behind the train.
Yeah. You could probably take that bus apart and put it on a train car. That might be very cool.
Wow. You know how hard it is to get it to work in the first place? Goodness. Well, I really appreciate you telling us all about it and about you and just connecting with you in general. Everyone should know that Tristan has volunteered to be part of my ground team for when I hit Chicago. I'm thinking road crew, right?
Road crew, perfect.
Yeah.
If I get a T-shirt that says road crew, I'll be so happy.
Well, you know what? I'll do that for you.
Okay.
And I'll try to make it look real professional-like. Or I'll just Sharpie road crew on the back of a Crusade shirt. But either way, it's going to be amazing. Well, thank you. And everyone should come out Saturday, September 22nd, 5 to 10. Go to artontrack.com. Look for Tristan. He'll be there, probably feeling very relieved, at least at the after party, right?
Right, at least then.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and I will talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.